Hi guys, Tuva here. This week I want to talk to you all about the subject gold. Yes, we use gold in many ways as witches, as Norse practitioners. In many ways, gold is part of the sun, it is part of the element of fire, it has many uses. Firstly, I want to talk about where does it actually come from? Where does gold come from? Well, in the beginning times, before the earth was formed, there were stars that were collapsing and exploding, supernovas. Everything that came from those explosions entered into the earth as it was being formed. And so it came from space, it came from out there, and it came down and entered into the earth as it was forming a crust. Now, we would never have seen gold had it not been for meteorites bombarding the earth as it was forming. Gold was found, and of course caught the eye of the humans because it was so beautiful to look at and so alluring. It also had aspects to it. Now, if you look at the Egyptian society, it was known that the pharaohs would worship gold. They would wear it, they would use it. They were very wealthy. Gold became a substance of protection, of enlightenment, to do with their deity, which was Ra. And so it went on. Gold became quite a big thing, and as you can tell when you look at the pharaohs laid to rest, they were coated in gold. Gold was very precious, and so it was worldwide. Now, when we get back to the Norse mythology, Draupnir, the beautiful gold ring that was given to Odin as one of the 3 gifts that was given in the creation story. So Odin received this beautiful ring. But the ring didn't just stay a ring. More would come from it. It was called the dripper, so that it dripped 8 more rings. Again, you have to look at the number 9. It normally represented more time than a night. In Norse mythology, you have 9 days, but that really means 9 months. Now, you have to go back to the beginning to understand that Odin and his brothers, 3 gods, Odin, Vili and Ve, they created the first 2 human beings. Now, Odin was the bringer of life. He gave spirit and life, the breath. So we can see how much giving this ring, a golden ring, giving life. So every 9 nights it would drop 8 rings, exactly the same, perfect. Hence, you have to think why. Now, if Odin give life to people, then what parts of life does a human need to be sustained? And that's when we come in. There are 8 parts to a human. So I need to read it because obviously I cannot remember it offhand. So I will find the list. Hang on a minute. Okay, yeah. So number 1, Ond, which is spirit. That is our spirit within us. And that's what Odin gives us, yeah? Number 2, Sal, which is soul. Our soul, which is part of our spirit, but our soul is us, it's all of us. Number 3, Mini, which is memory, because what good would we be, guys, without our memories? It is who we are. We build up memories over our lives, and so they are part of us, so another part of the human. Then you've got Hugr, mind, thoughts. You cannot live without your mind. You cannot live without your thoughts. A very important part, I would say. And that is skin, your outer form, how you look, whether you be female or male, your appearance. Then you've got number 6, and that would be Haminya, and that would be your luck, your prosperity, your honour, all the things that makes you good, things that are good for you, the things that you would wish for yourself. And then number 7, Euphilia, which is a protector, but it's also something that follows you all of your life. And then number 8, and that would be Odra. That would be your inspiration and your passion for life, the thing that gets you going, the thing that keeps you going. And so you can see how that relates to Odin in a strong way. He's the giver of life. The ring is his. He owns it. Was it him that gave life, or was it the ring that gave life? You can look at it 2 ways. But again, gold is mentioned in other ways as well. There's stories in there of Freya. Now Freya cried tears of gold. Gold was her colour. Amber. All the things that relate to that beautiful colour. Gold meant beauty and wealth. And so when she cried those tears, it aided her on her journey to find her husband. Didn't work though, but she had these tears of gold. Now another story we can think of, and that is Sif. Sif had beautiful long gold hair made of gold, so beautiful that it covered the crops and aided it against the winds and the bad weather so that the crops would grow. She was very important to the harvest every year, and that is Sif. Again, another story. So magically it's used in many ways, guys. So like you will see people wearing gold jewellery. So if you have a sigil made out of gold, it's very important when you wear it magically. We can use the sun, being it is part of gold. So we can use the goddess Sol. We can use her in our magic. We can aid our crystals and our tools by putting them underneath Sol during the day, leaving it there for the whole of the phases of the sun. And talking about the phases of the sun, when we're using magic, we need to know the things that we can use it for, and also what times of the days are best for what. So again, I have the phases of the sun which I would like to give to you. You know, at the end of the day, guys, all these things help us. We can write these things down and look back on them. But to have the phases, like you have phases of the moon, or the sun also has phases, and it is normally a daily phase rather than over a month. So the first one would be sunrise. Now sunrise is the sun peeking up over the horizon and coming awake. We're seeing it coming to life. You can do magic with the sun at the beginning in the morning for changes, health, employment, anything of that manner where you feel it's beginning. So you use sunrise for this time, which would mean you'd get up at that time and see that sunrise when you do your magic. Now magic can be lighting a candle and burning a piece of paper with what it is you want on it. Use the candle of the colour of the sun, but use it at the different stages of the sun. So beginning at the day, early day, would be a pale yellow. You then would change the colour for the times of the day. What you would do is call upon Sol and say what it is you need, writing it down, then burning it over that flame at that time of the day. And that is a good spell to bring about your magic. Again, that is the start of the day. So then mid-morning is when the sun is starting to get warmer, it's starting to grow. So that would be the time that you would light a candle of more of an orangey colour. You would also, again, write what it is you want. Courage, harmony, happiness, strength and prosperity. So all those things you can use around that time of the day, because it is growing, a bit like with the moon when it is waxing and you are thinking about what you want to fulfill. Midday, the sun is at its strongest, it's at its hottest, and that is the time when you would think about what you want to achieve. And with your magic, that time of the day, you would use a bright red candle, very red, really showing what it is you want. So with the magic, you would then do well-being, wisdom, knowledge, attaining things, getting what you wish for. Mid-afternoon, that's a time when the sun is starting to get less warm, you can feel it starting to wane. And that is a time when you can get rid of things. So the candle would then be yellow again. You can feel that energy shift and write on there what you want to get rid of. Things that have been getting to you that you want to sort out, which could be to do with your job. It could be to do with relationships, anything like that. And you can use that time of the day to benefit yourself. And then we have sunset, watching that sun go down and getting a candle that is almost white, almost just a tinsy bit of colour, because it is going down. And so that's a time when you get rid of things. Your magic would be to aid health issues like depression, overwhelming situations and bad relationships, and anything that is problematic to you. Again, writing it down, asking Soul for her help as she goes to sleep for the night, and burning it. And that would be the phases of the sun that you can use in a magical way. Also, making a talisman, colouring it gold, even if it isn't gold, and then putting it on your window ledge for the following day. Doing your spell, then leaving it there for the moon to enhance it, but then building it up for the next day for the energies of the sun. And all the time you are relating the colour gold to Soul, and that's really the representation and the element of fire. Fire meaning strength, vitality, pushing things through, getting that aid that you really need, that strength from within. And so it's a good thing to do if you want to do any spell work. So that's something I thought you would be interested in, guys. Even though we're doing the correspondences to the sun is gold, because gold comes from the universe, and it comes from places like the sun, because stars that explode have turned into suns. We can see the relevance. The only way we can relate to gold as a metal for this is to use the sun, and that would be the element of fire. The goddess would be Soul. The rune Soilo, obvious there. I have a video on that if you're interested, guys. I'll put the link above. Then we have the stone, and that would be the ruby. Now, you could pick other stones like citrus ones, or there's different ones as long as they are of the colour of gold or the sun. Zodiac sign, Leo. The animal, the lion, the hawk. Flowers would be sunflowers or marigolds. The colour of the candles would be gold, or if you can get gold, yellows, oranges and reds. Now, getting back to the end of the story that I was telling you about Odin and Draupnir. When Balder died, it was a catastrophe. For Balder was summer, he was life, he was the joy, he was the beloved of all the gods. And so Odin, being the giver of life, and his ring, Draupnir, that can give those 8 functions, those 8 rings of what is needed for life. When Balder was put upon the funeral pyre to be burned, they had to do it quickly. They needed to get him reincarnated back where he was, for it was necessary. Odin decided to put Draupnir upon his funeral pyre. Now, we think the reason for this would have been that every 9 nights more would be given, more life would be given, a new life would be given with 8 properties that can help it grow and sustain itself. Hence, the thought behind that was that if Draupnir was put upon the funeral pyre, it would do the same for Balder, which is why Odin did it. For there are stories about how the Nordic people felt that if you died, you needed to be burnt quickly. If you were buried, it meant your soul, your body, your mind, everything could not progress forward into the afterlife. So to burn the body was the quickest way to release that part of the person. If they were buried, it retained it. They could never move on. Hence, people that were killed for being bad, for not being law-abiding, were normally put into peat, into bogs, where they would never, ever decompose, because the only way the soul could leave that body, according to their belief system, was if the body was corrupted, whether the body started to break down. Now, it takes centuries if a body is in peat or in a bog to break down. Hence, they were stuck there forever. A nasty punishment. So with Balder, they needed to burn him as soon as possible, and the 9 nights would obviously have been the 9 months, the time when a new baby is born, from conception to birth. A new life is born, and so we can see that that would have been the way that Odin would have been thinking. Also, there are many stories that go on and talk more about what happened to Balder, and so these stories are wonderful to look at. So if you get a chance, guys, give them a read. They are deep. There are deep meanings to them. When you read them, first of all, you think of it just as stories, but when you look below the surface, there were deep meanings to them. So they can really aid us in our paths. I want to thank my new subscribers and welcome you to the channel, and hope that you get what it is that you're looking for from the videos on here, and to become part of the family. You know, leave comments so that I can get to know you. Very soon, and I know I keep saying it, guys, I will be doing a live stream, and I want it to be a meet and greet to start with. And please be gentle with me. It's the first one I've ever done, so leave it there. Thank you to all that respond to me, leave comments, and are always there. Thank you. Really do appreciate it. So wherever you are, whatever time of day, night or evening it may be, I wish you the best ever. House of Alang.